Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive paradigm shift. We're talking about why budgeting is actually behavior, not math. Let's just jump right in and unpack the hidden psychology that's really controlling your wallet. Let's kick things off with a pretty wild question. Why do people making massive salaries often struggle just as much as folks with ordinary incomes? I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. We see people pulling in six figures who are completely trapped, living paycheck to paycheck, literally one emergency away from total disaster. And at the exact same time, there are folks with totally average incomes who are quietly building incredible financial stability over time. If money was just a straight-up math problem, the six-figure earner would win every single time. But they don't. So what exactly is the missing variable here? Well, we tell ourselves this really comforting myth, right? We think, oh, I just don't have enough income. If I could just get that raise, all my financial stress would magically vanish. But looking at the data, the reality is entirely different. The core friction holding you back isn't a math problem at all. It's actually an emotional behavior problem, and it's totally fueled by modern life. Think about it. People rarely sit down, carefully analyze a purchase, and logically conclude it'll ruin their financial future before swiping their card. No way. The spending is incredibly fast, it's basically invisible, and most importantly, it is deeply, deeply emotional. And hey, if you struggle with this, the research actually shows it isn't entirely your fault. Modern life is actively designed to make spending completely effortless. Just look at the triggers we face every single day. Are you bored? Buy something. Stressed from a really long day at work? Go on, buy something. Feeling sad? Treat yourself. Every one-click app, every hyper-personalized ad, and every infinite scrolling algorithm is out there studying your emotions. They're basically just waiting for you to have a bad Tuesday so they can sell you a blender you don't even need. Entire industries are competing for your impulsiveness. Your money isn't disappearing in giant dramatic disasters. It's actually draining away through thousands of tiny emotional decisions. Okay, so how do we actually fight back against an entire economy engineered to make us impulsive? Well, we have to look to a golden rule. Now, mathematically, it's super simple, but psychologically, it's incredibly difficult. Here it is. Spend less than you earn. I know, it sounds ridiculously obvious, right? But if it's so basic, why is it completely ignored by millions of people year after year? The reason this is so tough to pull off is because of a trap called lifestyle inflation. This right here is the exact reason why simply earning more money never actually fixes the underlying issue. What happens when you get a new salary? You immediately convince yourself you need a bigger car, or you get a bonus at work. Suddenly you're adding 3 more monthly subscriptions. Your higher income instantly creates a higher lifestyle. It's like a treadmill where someone keeps speeding it up and moving the finish line. It traps millions of people forever. The only way to win, you've got to reverse the process. Instead of growing your expenses first, you have to force yourself to grow your savings first. To actually beat this treadmill, the source material points us to a really brilliant framework called the bucket system. It takes your income and divides it into 4 distinct psychological boundaries: bills, savings, investing, and fun. By compartmentalizing your money into these 4 categories, you completely take the emotional guesswork out of your daily life. You're no longer just staring at this giant, confusing lump sum in your checking account. You're looking at specific funds that have specific jobs to do. Now, the absolute crucial point here, the rule that makes the whole thing work, is establishing one absolute boundary. Never spend from buckets that are empty. That's the whole shebang. It is psychologically so powerful because, honestly, most of our financial stress comes from mixing everything together in one big pot. Without boundaries, your rent money accidentally becomes your fancy restaurant money. Your emergency savings slowly bleed into vacation money. Your investment funds become impulse shopping money. By honoring the buckets, you create solid boundaries, and those boundaries give you ultimate control over your financial destiny. Let's look at how this builds in the real world. Take Maria's story, for example. She's a hardworking mom juggling 2 jobs, cleaning offices during the day, helping at a restaurant at night. Every single month just felt like a massive fight for survival. Now, she wasn't irresponsible, she just didn't have a system. Any extra cash that came in just instantly disappeared. But when she started opening separate accounts for her bills, emergencies, and future investments, she followed this fascinating emotional trajectory. Her small savings led to a feeling of stability. That stability built her confidence, which then forged real discipline, and ultimately, it gave her options. And get this, $20, just $20. Maria wasn't rich, and she certainly didn't start with much. Sometimes she was putting away literally just $20 or $50 a whole month. But the huge revelation here is that her consistency was enough. It wasn't a perfect system, and it definitely wasn't some dramatic overnight success story. But for the very first time in years, the constant low-level panic stopped. Why? Because the actual amount of money you save initially matters way less than the habit you are building. Just knowing exactly where her money was going was enough to stop her from feeling like she was drowning. The reason Maria succeeded where so many of us fail is actually pretty simple. You do not need a massive, complicated spreadsheet that takes hours to update. Seriously, toss it. Complex budgets rely on a ton of heavy information, and because they're absolutely exhausting to maintain, they usually fail. Simple rules, on the other hand, survive. They survive because they protect us from our own emotional impulsiveness. Remember, we don't need more financial information crammed into our heads. We need a framework that actually reduces our emotional mistakes. That brings us to a quote that reveals the ultimate secret engine of this entire system. Discipline is unreliable. Humans get tired. Automation removes decision-making. I mean, think about your own life. You get tired. You get emotional. You get distracted. If you're relying entirely on willpower to manually move your money into savings at the end of a long, exhausting month, you're probably going to fail. Willpower is a finite resource. It runs out. But automated systems, they never get tired. They never get sad. They just execute the plan. So let's talk execution. By automating your savings the very second you get paid, literally before you can spend a single dime, you completely bypass human error and decision fatigue. Here's how it goes. Step 1, get paid. Step 2, automatically move that money directly to your savings and investing buckets. Step 3, only spend what remains. You completely stop relying on motivation and you start relying on systems. This is the single change that has transformed countless financial lives, mainly because it literally pays your future self before your current self has a chance to emotionally spend it. We really need to rethink what success actually looks like. The internet constantly tries to shove this idea down our throats that wealth is all about loud luxury. Designer clothes, crazy expensive vacations, flashy cars. It trains people to think wealth just means looking rich. But true financial stability, it's actually about quiet control. It's about feeling zero panic when an emergency pops up. It's having no fear every time the phone rings, and absolutely no anxiety when you log in to check your bank account. The simple bucket system gives you something vastly deeper and more valuable than a luxury car ever could. It gives you total peace of mind. All right, so if you want to take action today, just follow these 3 super simple steps. Number 1, set up your 4 basic buckets. Keep it simple. Number 2, automate your transfers so your money moves the exact minute your paycheck hits. And number 3, repeat small decisions. Think back to Maria. You don't need to be perfect overnight, and you definitely don't need a massive salary to start. True financial stability is built through repeating these tiny, small decisions again and again and again. I'll leave you with this final thought, and it's the absolute ultimate takeaway from all of this data. Wealth isn't about income. It's about behavior. Most people are going to spend years of their lives desperately trying to earn more money, all while completely ignoring the systems controlling the money they already have. If you truly want to change your financial life, stop focusing solely on out-earning your spending habits and start mastering the behaviors you actually control. So ask yourself, are you going to keep trusting your emotions with your financial future, or are you ready to build the simple system that finally sets you free?